Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. This is fantastic. So for those people who are going to be listening at home, we're live from Moz Army at the Star Garter, Saturday, 10th of May.
Exciting.
It is exciting. So there will be a few people who listen at home who won't know who we are, so we'll just introduce ourselves. My name's George. I'm a newspaper journalist. I'm based in Derby in the UK, and this is...
I'm Chris. Live round the corner, Chorlton, Manchester, and I work in social housing.
Chris is hosting about half of Moz Army at his house this year. How many guests have you got in yours?
Yeah,
two down?
every sofa's. I think we've got a mattress, inflatable mattress coming tomorrow as well.
So we always have a bottle of wine. Chris is going to be drinking the same that everybody here in the audience is drinking, which is called Beefsteak Club, but it is vegan.
So this was George. George got the wine, and it's a Morrissey-related event, and we've got beef wine, but it is vegan though. It is vegan. It does say on the back vegan. Yeah.
So that is a medium Malbec. Is that right?
Yeah.
Red wine. I'm on the non-alcoholic Prosecco because I want to keep a clear head for tonight. It's called Nosecco, which I think is a bit naff, but hopefully it'll taste nice. Are you okay to open this one as well? Because I don't trust myself. So what have we got coming up? We've got the quiz, as always, 10-question trivia quiz. I'm going to be quizzing Chris, and if you guys keep track in the audience, we'll see if anyone beats him, which might not be hard. Nanny Val is going to join us on the stage, and she's going to analyse a song. Yes, Nanny Val. Should we have a round of applause for Nanny Val? Yeah, I think she's as nervous as we are, but yep, she'll be joining us on the stage soon. Me and Chris are going to analyse the lyrics Spent the Day in Bed. I think there's some stuff to get in there because obviously I'm a journalist. It's a pretty anti-journalist song, and I thought we could talk about that and the various other elements of it. We're going to do some recommendations. If you love Morrissey, then you love this. And I think that's about everything, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you covered it there.
Okay. Yep. Should we try this wine?
Yep.
What do you guys think of the red wine? Is it
any
okay?
good? Any good?
Could see some thumbs up. Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know.
It's a big gulp.
Yeah, it's all right. I think that's the one thing we haven't really done since we've done the podcast. We've not learned much about wine, really.
Well,
I was talking to Frank last night, and he was saying we should probably do more about the wine.
Well, we've had a wine tasting training thing booked. We've postponed it twice.
Yeah, we have got that coming up actually. So if Morrissey fully gets cancelled, then we can just do a wine podcast.
Yeah, we could just move to totally just wine. Yeah. Okay. So we've got the quiz coming up next. I'm going to quiz you.
Are you not going to sing? Are you?
No, well, we're going to end this introduction session. We're going to have a little break, and then we're going to go into the quiz.
Okay, well, yeah, you're quizzing me, which I think is a bit unfair, quizzing me live.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we were going to do an interactive quiz, weren't we? But that didn't...
Software issues.
Yeah, software issues.
So we'll do it the old-fashioned way. You can tell us how you've done in the audience, see if you've beat Chris. So let's go into the quiz now. This is your chance. Grasp the nettle and prove your mettle. There are people out there who know nothing of this trivia. You've waited all your life. It's quite sad if you stop and think. Never mind that. It's the Morrissey quiz.
Woo! Yeah. I think that's a bit Julian Clary more than Dale Winton. I think he's got a song like that actually.
Thanks.
So yeah, but you finally sang now on the Star Garter stage.
Yes, I'm done now. I'm just going to go home.
You said something to me the other day about when I said, we'll be on the Star Garter stage, and you said I've been something about coattails. What was that?
I don't remember.
I've been dragging on your coattails.
Oh, you've been riding my coattails.
Yeah. What does that mean? It sounds rude.
You've actually really helped a lot with Moz Army this year, so I shouldn't have said that. Now, are you ready for the quiz?
Yes.
Okay, let me just test these sound effects, mainly because I love pressing the button. So that's correct, and that's wrong.
That's what we don't want to hear. Yeah.
Okay, so question 1. Let's see if you could try to keep track of what you get in the audience, because I want to see if someone could beat Chris. Question 1. Name the dog on the cover of World Peace is None of Your Business. Now, I do have some multiple choice if you are struggling.
I think I know, but you can give us the multiple choice, actually.
Okay. Francisco, Paula, Edgar, or Rebecca?
It's Paula.
Correct. That's good, because I didn't know that until I looked it up. Okay, question number 2. This is a Name the Obituary. As we all know, there are a lot of them on Morrissey's website. This quote is, "Thank you, blank." You gave me the sudden urge to write something down. You took the lead. You knew it had to be said. Who do you think that was to?
Do we have multiple choice as well?
No.
Do people know this?
Anyone in the audience know this? I mean,
Okay,
there are
that's
a
not
lot
too
of
bad
obituaries.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, that's basically what the site's for now, isn't it?
Mm.
I want to actually do a quiz on obituaries. So whose obituary
Yeah.
is this? I don't know that one.
Okay. It was Edna O'Brien, who is an Irish writer. Yeah, okay. So, I'm going to make a note because I've got my pen. So you've got one right so far.
I'm making the notes as well.
Oh, are you? Just to verify. Question number 3. What was Boz's drag name when he appeared on stage in drag?
I know this one.
Yeah.
It was Gain Attention. Gain Attention.
Gain Attention, yeah. Okay, so
Did anyone go to that gig when he did that?
I think I was there.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Question number 4. Who released the original Days of Decision, which was obviously on California Sun, the cover? If you are struggling, I do have some multiple choice.
Yeah, can we have the multiple choice?
Okay, 3 possibilities. Jabriath, Roy Orbison, or Phil Ox?
I think it's more elimination, that one, because I know it's not the other two, so it's Phil Ox.
Correct. Yeah, you're doing quite well. Question number 5. Who wrote the music for the song Spent the Day in Bed? Who was the chief writer?
Was that Gustavo?
Yeah? Do you remember his surname?
No. What's his surname? Yeah.
Gustavo Manzor. Yeah, that's correct. Okay.
Is
Well done. Okay, we're on to the second half of the quiz. Question number 6. What is the name of the main character in the 2003 film My Life with Morrissey, which has a rating of 41% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Is that good or bad?
That's bad.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen that film?
Ah, okay, you've seen it.
Is
yeah.
it where she wakes up and she's got all the posters around the bed? It's like being at home.
I believe the plot is that she deludes herself into thinking that she's in a romantic relationship with Morrissey.
Okay.
So I can give you some options as you. I can give you some options.
Go ahead, get the options. Yeah.
Okay.
I like options.
4 kind of Morrissey-related names. So is it Veronica, Susan, Jackie, or Ruth?
I'll go for Jackie.
You're gonna go for Jackie. That's
Is it
correct.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Well done. So what have you got so far, Chris? 5.
Is it 5?
Yeah, okay. Question number 7. Who was the photographer for the controversial Supreme photo shoot of Morrissey? I can give you 2 options if you don't know it straight away.
I don't know this at all, so I think even the options won't help.
Do you remember what happened with this? He did the picture.
Yeah, so the Supreme, it was quite good, and the T-shirts, you can still buy the T-shirts, but only on like Vinted, and they're like over £100, aren't they? Because I was in New York, went to New York, I've only been there once, but I was walking around and I had that T-shirt on, and someone else had it. It was really weird.
But I think he did the picture, and then Supreme wanted to use it for advertising, and he said, I never agreed for it to be used for advertising.
Okay.
It was a whole controversy, I think, in the Morrissey world. Okay, so was it Sam Esty Rayner, Morrissey's nephew, or was it Terry Richardson?
I'm not sure. I think giving the options makes it a bit easier, though, that one, doesn't it? Because I don't think it was Sam, but yeah, I don't think you should give me that one.
What are you going to... Well, you have to choose an answer.
I don't think it was Sam.
So you think it was Terry Richardson? Correct.
Okay.
Okay, one more point for you. Question number 8. Name the coach in the novel List of the Lost by Morrissey. What was the name of the coach in that book? Anyone here remember it?
I have read it a while ago.
Yeah. Do you want an option? Do you want a couple of options?
Okay.
Okay. Was it Coach Rims, or was it Coach Bones?
Rims is funnier, isn't it?
Yeah, Rims funnier,
someone
but-
said that, so I think that gave me away.
It was Coach Rims.
Okay,
Yeah, that is so
okay.
Morrissey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Question number 9, as we move to the end of the quiz. The British comedian Jo Brand named one of her books after which Morrissey song?
I do love Joe Brand, so I think I do know this one.
think we're going to talk about her a bit later, aren't we?
Maybe. Don't give it all away.
Okay.
Don't peek. Don't. Is it the more you ignore me?
Yeah.
Oh.
The more you ignore me, the closer I get.
Oh, okay.
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 Actually, was it just the first half? I don't know. But yes, that was the song that it was named after.
Have you got that book?
Yeah, I got it on my Kindle. Yeah, I've read it. It's really good. I think we might have recommended it on this podcast before. Question number 10, 10th and final question. Can you complete the quote? Being praised by the Guardian art section has become a bit like receiving a love bite from, this is of course a Morrissey quote, bit like receiving a love bite from who? Could give you a couple of options if you like.
Margaret Thatcher, I don't know.
No, incorrect. Morrissey said Jimmy Savile.
Oh, even
Yeah.
even better.
Okay, so how did you do, Chris?
I think I got 7.
7 out of 10. That's really good. Do you think, does anyone in the audience reckon they got more than Chris?
Really? I do think that some of them I was given though a little bit because they were multiple choice. I wouldn't have got some of them if they weren't multiple choice. Just being humble now.
Yeah. I do have to thank Sophie, who unfortunately couldn't be here because she spent all of her money on the tour. But she helped with those questions, so thank you to
She's
Sophie.
stranded somewhere in America, isn't she, I think?
Yeah. Okay, well, that is the quiz. And then we're going to go into Nanny Val Reacts. Yeah, you're in the middle, just here. Would you like some non-alcoholic Prosecco or some red wine?
She wants the alcoholic one.
Wants the red. Okay,
Yeah.
well, fair enough.
She wants the beef wine.
Yeah. If this is your mic. You don't have to turn it on. Just hold it to your face. Yeah.
I've got a plastic cup, plastic glass.
Okay, so Nan, this time you have been recommended by the Patreon subscribers to react to a Smith song, or at least that's the one you've chosen from the list. What's the name of the song?
I Know It's Over.
I Know It's Over. Okay.
And that was from Salvador.
Salvador's just that one. And I think he said he wanted to sort of get it from a mother's perspective, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which I thought...
don't know if I've gone down that path, but yes.
Yeah. Just lift your mic a little closer.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so I Know It's Over. Kind of this, I don't know, to me it's the standout song of that album, The Queen Is Dead. I mean, there's obviously the title track, Queen Is Dead. It's very raucous, but this one, in terms of lyrics, it's very detailed, right?
Yeah.
So I think you, Nan, had an idea of where this story might have come from, what Morrissey might have been thinking of when he wrote the song. So what did your research tell you?
Well, I have to listen to a few, as you know. And, sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
Oh.
Well, with this one,
Yeah.
I thought I need to understand it, so I always listen to the lyrics first.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I happened to see was from a comment a little bit later, because this was in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
It was recorded as a Smiths song. And then in 1992, there was a comment in the record collector from Johnny Marr.
You wanted
So if
to
you
read
tell me
this,
what
didn't
that
you?
was, yeah.
So Johnny Marr commented, 1992 in the record collector, Morrissey's vocal on I Know It's Over, I'll never forget when he did that. It was one of the highlights of my life. It was that good, that strong. Every line that he was hinting at was where he was going to go. I was thinking, is he going to go there? Yes, he is. It was just brilliant. So that's what Johnny Marr said.
Yes, yeah. So I thought it must be from some quite traumatic time in Morris's life for him to be wondering if he was going to actually say the things he said. And when I looked at it first, I thought it was him that was saying things like about mother and about the soil coming
The
on
soil
his head
falling
and
over
this.
my head, yeah.
But I don't think it was. I went back and I re-listened. You downloaded the audiobook of his biography.
Yeah.
And I wanted to listen to the time leading up to that time when they recorded it to see if there was anything that stood out to me as being why he wrote this song.
Yeah.
And I think it was about his mum had about 7 or 8 siblings, and I think this was about the third youngest, Jean.
Mm.
And he'd also wrote a song previously about Jean.
Yes.
And she had a very abusive relationship.
This is an autobiography.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it was her and him. This, I think, was when she constantly left the guy she was with and went back to his granny's house, where he also stayed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is banter between the two of them when she's back and she's left him again and she's back and quite suicidal. This is where the thing, mother, can you help me? And the soil coming over my head, etc. But I think actually it's more about her, and then her saying to him, you know, well, if you're so clever, you know, he's saying to her, stay, you know, don't go back again, because they had 3 kids by this time. And I think he's saying to her, you know, don't go back, it's a wrong place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying to him, well, if you're so clever and if you're so popular and if you're so, I'm saying the wrong words, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, why are you on your own tonight? So I think that's where I'm coming from with this one.
So it's interesting that because I suppose when I have listened to the song, and I guess I have many times, I always think they're like vignettes of different people. There's lots of different things going on, but you're sort of focusing it's about one relationship that Morrissey knew the details of.
He'd lived through a very traumatic time with this because their family were very close-knit and all lived together. And when he was, his dad left when he was 17, so prior to that, this girl had this relationship with someone. This is why it says in there about the loutish groom. Jean had met this guy, Johnny, and they'd had a very, awful relationship. And he, when he was only a young lad, was walking along with his granny and Jean, and this guy passed by and gave Jean an uppercut,
right, and
knocked her out, and they had to run to a convent to try and get sanctuary. And so I think it would have really affected him deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not sure, obviously, but this other song about Jean says, I'm fed up of walking to your home. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I'm fed up of walking to your home and the cupboards are always bare and, you know, it's icy sinks and that, and you're in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a continuation of that thing. And it's her, this saying to her mum, help me, I don't know what to do. And, you know, I think she was probably quite suicidal.
I mean, what do you think, Chris? The idea that this song could be about an abusive relationship that Morrissey saw kind of almost firsthand.
Yeah, I always really like hearing your take on things because obviously it's often the first time you've heard the song, whereas it's harder for us because we've heard all the songs so many times and we know every line. Most people know every line to every song. But I think also when you picked this song, I did think it'd be quite a hard one because it's like there's a lot going on. It's not to me. It isn't just a single. There's loads going on in the song and loads of lines that are easily quotable that you can use for Instagram captions and things. But I think the line around love is natural and real. What do you think about that? But not for you and I.
Yeah, well, this would be it. If they were very close in age,
It's quite bossy. It's quite bossy. I get this all the time.
A lots of the his mother's sisters were very near in age to him.
Okay.
Rita was only a couple of years older than Jackie. And so it goes on. And that one was only very young, still in her teens. And they once found him climbing up into the bedroom of Jean. And his dad ran after him and beat him up. So I think all of that would really impacted on someone like Morrissey, who was very sensitive and poetic and a gentle soul. He wasn't, he was subject to seeing all this violence around him, but he was not part of it. So I think he and this girl would have been the one trying to persuade her not to go on with the relationship, I think.
So that's a really interesting idea about where the inspiration may have come from for writing this song. On a personal level, how did you find the song? Did you think it was terribly sad? Was it kind of interesting to you? How did it make you feel?
Well, it was a very melancholic ballad, and it was lovely. I liked it a lot, but I just felt he was, trying to put into words feelings he'd had over these years with all this that went on, that he really, as a young boy, wouldn't have understood what was happening, And in later life, he was still trying to help her.
There's these lines that are often quoted in this song. It's so easy to laugh, it's so easy to hate, but it takes guts to be gentle and kind. Not so much. I'm not asking so much about the relationship that you think the song might be about, but how do you feel about that line? Do you think that's an interesting take? It's actually harder to be nice in this world than it is to be horrible.
I suppose, because we react immediately to situations, don't we? And this, often with anger or even with hatred sometimes. But it is difficult to be kind and what's loving? What was it?
Yeah,
Gentle and
Yes.
kind, yeah.
Yeah, gentle and kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully we can all aspire to it.
yeah. And I
And
mean,
then-
it's often sorry.
And
Chris.
then sort of, how do you think that feeds into then the end? Because I know that the guy who recommended this mentioned about from a mother's perspective, and obviously you're a mother
Yes.
and a grandmother,
Yeah.
and a great grandmother.
Yeah, and a great grandmother.
Around the oh mother, I can feel the soil falling over my head.
Well, I would.
How does that fit into what you?
Yeah, I think probably initially people may think it's him and he's having all these feelings and asking his mother to help. But because I've gone down this path, and I obviously, as usual, I could be entirely wrong, but I do think it would be the girl. She came back often to this granny's house, to his granny Bridget, his nanny Bridget, who was living in a condemned house, so she wouldn't have gone back there from choice. She was going back because of the relationship. And she stayed with this guy and kept going back to him. And she probably did feel very suicidal. And I think he's the type of person that would have tried to lift her out of that and to give her, confidence to go forward. And he was saying things like, I think we're both alone, or I can't quite remember all of the words, but...
So we did a bit of a leaderboard of the songs that you've reacted to. And there aren't many Smith songs in that leaderboard because we haven't really covered that many Smith songs.
well, I only go for what I'm asked to cover, so...
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring out the arts and crafts that I worked on this week.
What, have you actually got the leaderboard with you?
Yeah.
Well, where is it then?
It's behind us.
It's behind you.
I'll get the leaderboard if you want to. So what we're going to do is, maybe it's better to explain when we have it. Think of the word reciprocal.
Right. It's like Blue Peter. So, Nan, what I was going to ask you then, is this going to feature in your top 10, do you think? Is this a song that stands out to you as a particularly good one?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Wow. That's actually quite good.
Reciprocal. So, basically, you've not seen this, have you, before?
No, is that fellow?
No. That's the current song, isn't it? So obviously we've rated all the songs. Interestingly, Bonfire is at the top, so a new song, and a controversial song in some ways. Can people see that, or is that? Do I need to show it? A1 is quite big, but maybe I needed the other one. A0 wasn't it?
Well, just tell us what are the top three then.
Yeah, so the top three. So number one, with a score of 29 out of 30, so pretty much perfect, was Bonfire of Teenagers. Then one of my favourites, number two, is Once I Saw the River Clean with 28. Yeah. Well, in joint second place, we also have When You Open Your Legs. So
yeah.
Sorry.
you're sat next to your grandson, so yeah. And then all the rest are on there as well. So at the bottom so far, the worst song, a terrible song, Hold On To Your Friends.
No, there are actually, we've done more than 10. They're just the top 10. Yeah. But so... How are we going to...
So we need to rate the song by lyric, music, and voice.
Okay.
Well, obviously, I can only judge it from how I look at it and think about it. So, yeah, definitely, I think the lyrics were good, probably a 9 or 10.
We need one number.
We'll say 9 then, because I might be
9.
entirely wrong.
So I need to... George needs to hold this for a second.
Oh, no. I'll just hold it like this.
Yeah, that's much better, isn't it?
No,
You should have had that when we started.
Okay, so you go for 9 for lyrics.
Lyrics is the first one, number 9.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Does the pen not work?
It just disappears.
All right, well, we don't need to write it.
Never mind. Do it again.
So what are you going to rate it out of for music, Nan, out of 10?
Yeah, it was quite melodic, like a ballad. I like that, so 9. 9
again, okay.
9.
And finally then for voice.
Yeah, his voice is good as well.
Because you usually prefer Morrissey's sort of more modern voice, don't you? More of a crooner voice.
But I've been listening to some like this one, and I quite like this one.
So that's a 9.
Yes.
9 across the board.
So where does that go?
What's 9 times 3?
27.
27? Thank you.
Oh, it's only with I Have Forgotten Jesus and this charming man.
Yeah, this charming man and I Have Forgiven Jesus sits in the middle there. Well, that's interesting that it's right next to another Smith song. There you go, Chris.
Thank you. Okay.
Fantastic.
So yeah, obviously the pen doesn't work. It does work, but it just disappears as you write it. I think it's a magic pen.
You need a Tipex.
So 27, yeah, 27. So it's right in the middle, as George said, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. You know, Chris said he was making this board, and I was like, don't get involved. He's going to cock it up, like something's going to go wrong. And he still quite impressed me, actually. It's
We've only been friends for over 10 years, and that's what you think of me.
Okay, well, I think that wraps up Nanny Val Reacts, and I know you'll be pleased to go back and sit in the audience.
Well, I did just want to find out what you thought of the wine, because George is drinking the pathetic wine.
I think it's very nice,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
It's very, sorry, it's very mellow, very
Mellow.
nice wine. Like the wines I used to drink when I lived in Spain.
Yeah, where's it from? It's
I don't know.
Argentinian.
Argentinian,
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, my friends were Argentinian, so they probably had that in their restaurant.
Well, cheers, then. Thank you for joining us for Morrissey and Wine Live.
Thank you.
Cheers, George.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Okay, so we just listened to Spent the Day in Bed, and we're going to talk about the song now. I think for me, one of the main lyrics that stands out for me is life ends in death, so there's nothing wrong with being good to yourself. And I think a lot of Morrissey and Smith songs almost have that aspect to them where it's almost like a call to action. I think I've said this before, but almost like a call to action to do what you want to do, and to almost, it's almost like a freeing thing that he's saying there. I think like it's almost like just go and do it. Don't wait. Like the best day is yesterday, not tomorrow.
Well, I suppose, yeah. So a lot of the song is about freeing people, isn't it? Because he's saying, you can stay in bed. Don't, call in sick. Don't go to work. You can sort of radically free yourself from work. I mean, I think it's quite easy for Morrissey to say, as a multimillionaire, that you can just stay in bed and lose your job. He's not going to pay the lecky bill when it all goes tits up. But
you don't say lecky bill.
Utility bill. Do you think it's okay? Like, is it just Morrissey talking about himself, or is he encouraging everybody else not to go to work? Because if a lot of people don't go to work,
they won't be able to buy his tickets, will they? And go to shows. So yeah.
No. Obviously, this song refers to workers being enslaved, and Morrissey says he's like, I am not one of these. He says, while the workers stay enslaved, I stay in bed.
Yeah, which is quite a risky thing to say, isn't it? It's quite controversial, because most of us have to go to work, and so it's almost a bit of a sting. But also, you would if you could. You wouldn't if you couldn't, I suppose.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to touch on this idea, because half of the song is don't go to work, stay in bed, just look after yourself. The other half is this sort of tirade against the news. No, I don't think I'm mistaken in saying that. I think Morrissey used to watch news constantly. I'm sure he said...
You said this before, yeah, you have mentioned this before.
Sure, I've read that, or he said it on some documentary or something. But obviously something has changed, and now he believes the news is a really bad thing, and that it contrives to frighten you, and it makes you feel that you don't have any agency in the world. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, the idea that the news contrives to frighten you, it is true that people prefer negative stories. Where I work, if you've got a negative story on the website and a positive one, most people are going to click the negative one. Yeah. Whose fault is that?
It's human nature more than maybe the journalist.
Yeah, human nature. And would the world work if we had no news? I'm not sure.
I like to know what's going on, but I do get it, because you said before to me once around, you can only manage so much. And I suppose, especially in human history, we haven't had... most of human history, we've not had access to that sort of news that we have now. News, N-O-O-Z-E. Yeah. But yeah, but now obviously we have that. So it's like there's an avalanche somewhere and loads of people died in Pakistan or something. Obviously it's horrible, but really, is it worth us getting upset about that when it's so far away?
I think that's interesting. So this idea of avoiding the news is all part of the self-care that he is promoting in the song. So this is another way to look after yourself. Yeah, you're right. I have always thought that, you really need a very local circle of what you're responsible for. You can't go around worrying about every war in the world and every disaster, and because you just explode. But would Morrissey make a difference between a nice little local newspaper like what I work on, and the Sun or the Daily Mail or the Times?
Sounds quite biased, that one.
Yeah. No, but do you know what I mean? Like, does he really think all news is bad? I don't know how you could function if you just. No, I'm sure you could, but so he refers to workers being enslaved. He talks about how the news is bad. He's also got this refrain when he says, "Time, do as I wish." What do you make of that? 'Cause it's quite an interesting little part of the song, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's because I've when it first came out, that was the lyric that I sort of really resonated with. But I don't know why. I can't. It's almost like, is he saying sort of time stop right now, or is it that time to go back to a time that was better?
Well, sure. Yeah, he's probably not seeking time travel. Do you know what I mean? There'll be a weird element of the song, but it does sound like he's kind of saying either it should slow down or it should speed up.
Yeah.
And doesn't he also talk about this in Life as a Pigsty? It says, "Please, can you stop the pain?
Yeah.
Can you stop this time?" Yeah.
Can you please stop time?
Please stop time.
Pain? Yeah.
So this is something that plays on Morrissey's mind, presumably as he gets older. Like you feel that, as we all will, that time is sort of running out, and he wants to stop it, or at least slow it down. I always think it has a chord. The way he says it, "Time, do as I wish," and he repeats it. It's almost like a spell, like he's sort of casting something.
Yeah, like manifesting it, maybe.
Manifesting, as we say in 2025.
What do you think of the lyric, "I'm not my type, but I love my bed"?
I love that, because I'm not my type. I don't know why he links "I'm not my type, but I love my bed." I'm not sure what the connection is between those two things, but I think it's quite funny of Morrissey to say "I'm not my type," because we all wonder, well, what is Morrissey's type then? Wasn't he going out with his PA guy for a while? Do you know who I'm talking about? Yes, thank you, Damon. Or Damien?
Damon. And Jake was before that, I think.
Jake in the 90s, I think, yeah.
The photographer.
So maybe we could work out what Morrissey's type is through that. But I love it, because Morrissey's basically saying, I don't think I'm very attractive. I don't. If I look in the mirror, I don't think there's a handsome
Which we know he is.
Yeah, and we know that he probably does, actually.
Yeah, and he probably thinks he is, yeah. Yeah.
This song, in fact, in the top 10 Morrissey songs on Spotify, this is about 4 or 5, I think.
This is actually a number 7 on Spotify.
Oh, is it?
So, which is pretty high up, isn't it, for a newer song? Obviously, the top 2, Suede Head, and Sunday, but yeah.
Well, I think Morrissey often he comes a little bit sooner than the general consensus on something, and I think he's quick off the mark. So with this idea of anti-work, staying at home, don't be enslaved, I think that's quite popular with people, and I think that he timed this song just a year or two before that became a popular sentiment, and now probably a lot of younger people, and I'm sure older people as well, are resonating with that idea. And
that's why it's in the top 10, 7, yeah.
And I'm obviously not going to get into a big political discussion, but some of the ideas that Morrissey has been kind of told off for having, even saying things like Nigel Farage would make a great prime minister, well, you'll now find that there's a lot of people in this country who would agree with that. And he does, he's pilloried for something, and then he kind of think, oh, maybe he was predicting something there,
Yeah. And then the all of my dreams are perfectly legal, but when he did that live a few times, he replaced the word and sort of said, most of my dreams are perfectly legal, which is quite interesting. Which ones are not?
And murdering his enemies in his dreams or something.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So do you think this is a good single, like a strong Morrissey single?
Yeah, I do, yeah. I remember we listened to it first. Was it on Radio 2 when it came out in 2017? 2017 was it, I think, or 2018? When it came out, and it was on, first went live on Radio 2. And I remember being in my car and making sure only because I wasn't driving anywhere, but I had no other radio.
Oh.
It's just played it in my car. So
yeah, I think it's good. I love the music video. Like, they put a lot of work into that, didn't they?
With David Hoyle is in that, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the sort of drag thing that is in there.
Yeah. And Joey Barton is Wheels Morrissey in on the wheelchair.
Yeah.
These sounds from the train station that we can hear now are actually very similar to the sounds in the
wheels turning. Yeah.
It's a good music video, and it's Morrissey again playing with this idea of disability, isn't it? Early in his career, he would wear a hearing aid. you know, and the big NHS specs, and then in this much later he's in a wheelchair, you know, being wheeled around.
Hostage to kindness.
Hostage to kindness, yeah, exactly. So I guess that wraps up our analysis of Spent the Day in Bed.
Yeah, in the room, who would put that in their top half of the songs, sort of top 50%? Anybody? Because obviously it's listened to quite a lot, so it's interesting that you'd think it would be.
Yeah. Well, next we are going to go into, let me check my notes, we're going to go into If You Love Morrissey, Then You'll Love This.
No, we're not doing that next. Isn't it the...
No, we're skipping that.
We're skipping that?
Yeah, so we're going to... So shut up. We're doing If You Love Morrissey, Then You'll Love This. Thank you. So we're just going to take a quick 2-minute break and we'll be back. So cheers, Chris.
Okay, cheers. Cheers.
Welcome back. We're going to go into some recommendations. So if you love Morrissey, then you'll love this. I don't know if you want to go first, Chris?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. So this one is, we spoke about her earlier, a comedian, British comedian, a couple of years older than Morrissey, I think, Jo Brand. So we both like Jo Brand quite a lot. And I think she also, I think has been some, I think she made a comment about Morrissey. Was it her or was it the other one?
You thinking, when you say the other one, do you mean Kathy Burke?
Yes.
The other one. Yeah. No, I don't think Jo Brand has said anything too nasty about Morrissey.
No, I can't imagine she would. But she has, she started sort of in the, because we recently went to the Comedy Store, didn't we, to see Paul Merton do an improv, and David Mitchell was there. But there was lots of pictures of Jo Brand because she started there because she's obviously a Londoner. But she's got some great, she's a fan of Morrissey, but also she's got some great show, like Getting On is quite kitchen sink, isn't it? It's quite gritty and really funny, and she's in that. She sort of plays the lowest rank.
It's a sitcom set in a geriatric ward in an NHS hospital, isn't it?
Yeah. And what do you think about Jo Brand?
I think she's great. I always remember her line. She said that people say the best way to a man's heart is through the stomach. I think it's a bread knife through the shirt pocket.
That's good.
Yeah.
I also have a quote from Jo Brand. So I think she said the best thing you can do for somebody is make them laugh. That and a blowjob. So she's got some good lines.
I mean, we know she's a big Morrissey fan because, of course, as we said earlier, she wrote a book and named it after one of his songs. She was originally a nurse, a psychiatric nurse, so she worked with people who were, mentally unwell and in crisis. And I think that gives you a certain perspective on the world, doesn't it? And as we know, there's a lot of people who, like Morrissey and the Smiths, including myself, who do have mental health problems. That there is a connection there, so it all comes from the same world, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, like Getting On as well. It's got that. It's very somber kind of melancholy comedy, isn't it? Yeah. And you can see parallels there with some Smiths and Morrissey stuff.
But she also does stand up, and also she's often on Have I Got News for You, which is one of the best episodes when she's on there.
Yeah.
I wanted to recommend that her. What's yours, George?
Well, I'm gonna do something controversial for a Smiths and Morrissey podcast and recommend an album by The Cure.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Is it okay?
Is it okay? Because I think a lot of us like both. I think we do. So
can you have both?
Right, the album I was going to recommend is Wish by The Cure. My absolute favourite Cure album.
Not the charity.
What? Not the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I think, like, they always say The Cure, don't they? It's got, like, they do candy floss pop, or they do the most depressing music, whatever. But I think whilst Morrissey's music could be described as depressing in some ways, and so can The Cure, they do it in different ways. I think the Cure, especially on the Wish album, it's kind of sweeter kind of melancholy. It's somehow romantic and sparkly.
A little bit less gritty, isn't it, I think?
Less gritty, yeah. And I mean, there's that album is the one that has Friday I'm in Love on it, of course, which is probably the Cure's biggest hit. But you've also got a couple of other really good ones, From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea and Letter to Elise. This is a 1992 album, by the way. I think I know a lot of us will already have listened to The Cure, but there are some people who haven't, and I think Wish is a really good place to start. And I think it just shows you there is a different way about writing about these dark emotions, and these depressing emotions. That Morrissey does it in one way, The Cure do it in a different way, Pulp do it in a different way. Have you listened to this album, Wish? Have you ever listened to it before?
I don't think so. So it's a good one for me to have some homework. Yeah.
I think you would like it. So yours is Jo Brand. Maybe Getting On would be a good place to start.
Yeah, I think Getting On's great. It's on iPlayer in the UK, or it might be on BritBox as well.
I thought BritBox was dead.
No, BritBox isn't dead in Scandinavia.
Oh, right,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
And mine is Wish, the 1992 album by The Cure.
Yeah, so that was our recommendations. The wine, what do people think of the wine? Now we've had a bit more.
Is it starting to taste better?
There's still quite a lot there, so I think people have only had one glass.
I bought about 29 million bottles of wine.
Do you think it's on the bottle? There's a stamp that says Beef Steak Club. Do you think we're going to be admitted to the Beef Steak Club?
Yeah. Well, I'm enjoying my Nosecco.
I've almost had a bottle there. Look.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you have actually. No, you gave Nan some as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap it up. We want to say thank you to everybody for coming here today. Like, really appreciate it. It's fantastic that you've come. We've had a good time. I'm looking forward to Moz Army later, and I'm sure you'll all be there. How's this been for you, Chris? A little bit nerve-wracking at the start. But
a bit, yeah. It has been quite, yeah. But yeah, thank you for coming, and looking forward to seeing people at 8 o'clock.
Yes, 8 o'clock on the dot. And thank you very much to Gary from Red Eye Media Studio in Derby. Gary is our podcast producer. Let's have a round of applause for Gary. And thank you to Simone at the back for sorting the sound. Thank you, Simone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, cheers. Thank you. Godspeed.
God bless Morrissey. You're free to go. Get some more wine if you want.